I get it. When you're about to add a fifth wheel hitch to your truck, you're suddenly weighing a lot more than just the trailer's weight. You're wondering if the whole thing will line up every time, if it'll survive a full weekend of hunting trips, and whether you're throwing away cash on a piece that might never sit right. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The truth is, a bad hitch can ruin a perfect road trip, but a well-designed one can make the whole towing experience feel like you're just driving a regular SUV. That's why I spend a few evenings watching install videos, scrolling through forums, and reading the specs before I even thought about the price tag. Let's talk about the Blue Ox BXR2410. It's a two-piece, lightweight hitch that promises to bolt onto industry-standard rails, handle up to 24,000 pounds gross towing capacity, and support a 6,000 pounds vertical load. Those numbers look impressive on paper, but the real question is how they translate when you're out on the road, trying to line up that kingpin after a long day of loading gear. First off, the funnel-shaped head is the sort of detail that actually matters. When you back a trailer into a fifth wheel, you're usually staring at a metal plate and hoping the kingpin drops into place without a dozen adjustments. The BXR2410's head is molded to guide the kingpin straight into the socket, which cuts down on that wiggle dance. I saw a few install videos where the trailer slid into position on the first try, and that's not just a happy accident, it's the result of that funnel design reducing the margin for error. Another thing that sets this hitch apart is the true 360-degree nesting of the kingpin. In simpler terms, the kingpin can rotate fully within the hitch head, which means you don't have to worry about the trailer drifting side to side as you take a corner. For folks who do a lot of off-road or windy back roads, that stability is a quiet but huge benefit. It's not a flashy feature you brag about, but when you're negotiating a sharp turn on a mountain pass and the trailer stays perfectly aligned, you'll thank the engineering behind that articulation. Now, let's get into the practical side of installation. Because it's a two-piece unit, you can bolt the base onto your truck's rail and then attach the head later. That split design means you don't have to lift a heavy, monolithic piece onto your roof or into a cramped garage. If you have a liftgate or a helper, it's still a straightforward process. Line up the base, secure it with the supplied bolts, and then attach the head. The instructions are fairly clear, though you'll want a torque wrench and a friend to hold the head while you tighten the bolts. The whole thing takes about an hour for someone comfortable with basic hand tools. Who should buy the Blue Ox BXR2410? If you're a serious trailer owner, think big box campers, horse trailers, or a full-size travel trailer that regularly hits the 12,00015,000 lb range. This hitch is a solid match. The 24,000 pounds gross capacity gives you a comfortable safety cushion, and the 6,000 pounds vertical rating means you can trust it with a heavy load that's centered over the axle. The lightweight construction also appeals to folks who worry about adding unnecessary weight to their truck's suspension, especially if you're already pushing the limits of your vehicle's payload. On the flip side, if you're only pulling a light pop-up camper or a small utility trailer that stays under 2,000 pounds, the BXR2410 might be overkill. You'd be paying for a capacity you'll never use, and a simpler, cheaper hitch could do the job just as well. Also, if you have a truck that doesn't come with industry-standard rails, some newer models use proprietary mounting systems. This hitch won't fit without custom adapters, which adds cost and complexity. Let's talk about the weaknesses. The first thing that shows up in the real-world chatter is that, because it's a two-piece design, the head can develop a slight play over time if the bolts aren't retorqued regularly. The manufacturer recommends checking torque after the first 100 miles, and then every few thousand miles thereafter. That maintenance step isn't a huge burden, but it's something you need to remember. Skipping it can lead to that dreaded wiggle feel, which defeats the whole purpose of the funnel head. Another practical concern is the lack of integrated lights. Some fifth-wheel hitches come with built-in LED indicators that flash when the trailer is properly latched. The BXR2410 leaves that to the trailer's own lighting system, so if you're used to that visual cue, you'll have to rely on the manual latch lever and the feel of the kingpin snapping into place. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's worth noting for anyone who likes that extra reassurance. Durability-wise, the aluminum alloy used for the head and the steel base give a good balance of